Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? A little while ago I was doing an indie makeup releases and I talked about like loving pink highlighters or something, and I was like I should just swatch all of my pink highlighters to talk me out of buying this specific highlight. I think it was one of the Duochrome highlighter quads, and I got a few comments that you guys would actually really like to see me swatch all of my pink highlighters because I am a pink highlighter fanatic. I think that's my favorite shade to wear as highlight. So your wish is my command. I thought I would go ahead and do that today as an overhead video. So if you want to see all of my pink highlight swatch, let's just go ahead and jump right on in. Okay, so here are all of my pink highlighters. As you can see, we've got quite a bit to swatch. I went ahead and pulled out every single one of my collection. We've got single shadows, loose highlighters, cream highlighters, liquid highlighters in palettes, highlighters in duos. So there's just a bunch of stuff going on here, but the underlying factor is that they are all pink. So hopefully this video can help me not buy any pink highlights for a really long time, because obviously I probably have enough pink highlighter to last a lifetime. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start out by swatching any Duochrome pink highlighters that I have. I'm going to try and do them in categories just a little bit to be as helpful as I possibly can be for y'all. Also, if you're curious about my nails, I didn't do that amazing of a job painting them last night, but this is Kale Polish Taurus. Okay, so starting off with Duochromes, we have this shade here from JD Glow Cosmetics. It is called Chaos, and it is a pink shifting highlighter with a very warm, kind of orangey, almost green base. I do a quick little swatch of that. There's what it looks like. It is extremely reflective and glittery. For me personally, I don't like this one on the face. It just has too much of a harsh base. It doesn't look natural on my skin. I can't get it to fully blend in, so I like using this as an inner corner highlight. And then one that's pretty similar to that would be this from Melt Cosmetics. It's their shade Illuminacion. And this one is a very similar type of shade, but I like it because it's a bit more wearable for me. Go ahead and do a quick swatch. So there's what that one looks like. Oh wow, okay, why is that so much more orange actually compared? Huh. This one looks truly pink on my skin, but swatched out next to Chaos, it looks very orange. Okay, next let's go ahead and do this shade from Bitter Lace Beauty. It's called Cupcake Crush, and I feel like it's the same kind of really pink shift with more of like a rich, warm orange base. So there's what that one looks like. Okay, why are these all actually quite different? I am pleasantly surprised right now. That one definitely has a bunch more warmth to it. Okay, so next we have this Nomad Cosmetics highlighter, and it is the shade Hot Shot. It's technically their disco lighter from their Studio 54 collection. Super cute. It is a pink to blue shifting highlight. This one is a little bit more rough to the touch, but if you use a more like cream friendly highlighter brush, it can be so beautiful on the skin. So there's what that one looks like. Okay, next pulling out one of the palettes I have. This is the BH Cosmetics Duo Light Highlight Palette, and this has some really pretty pink tones in it. So for today, I figured I'd just go ahead and swatch this little middle section here. This first one called Top Scotch is so beautiful and reflective. It's like a pink with like a goldeny green shift to it. And then we have this one here, which is called Double Whammy, which is a pink with a very true green shift. And then we have Double Time, which is a pink with a purple shift. This one's not quite as intense, but also beautiful. See, that one's a little bit more lackluster, but these two here are stunning. Next, we've got the Moonlight palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I just wanted to go ahead and swatch this shade right here called Pink Heart. It's again a pink duochrome. It's kind of like a white pink iridescent duochrome if I remember correctly. I don't reach for this palette all that often, but it feels nice to the touch. So there is Pink Heart. Definitely more of a white with a pink iridescence. The pink's definitely more subtle with that one. We'll do this Blacklight palette from BH Cosmetics. I'm going to go ahead and swatch On Point and Illusion. So On Point Just looks like that. I mean, it's definitely more on the powdery side. I used to love these, but I don't reach for them all that often. And then Illusion is a pink with a purple shift. Honestly, on point, just looks very, very pink right now. I remember it being a duochrome, but I'm not seeing the shift just from swatching it on my finger. So here's on point. And here's Illusion. Okay, I also have this loose highlighter here from Shop Angelic Beauty in the shade Bebesita, and it is a pink to blue shifting highlight. I'm just going to go ahead and take just a little bit of that one, and we'll put that one right here. So you can see that one's definitely more intense. I've used it lightly as a highlighter, but I think it could be a really pretty blush as well. A lot of these shades I use as like a highlight blush hybrid. Okay, so I also have the Ofra highlight in the shade Cloud 9. It was their collaboration with Nikki Tutorials. Just looks like this. It's another really pretty duochrome. I would say this one is one of my favorite textures. It's funny because when I got it, I didn't like it. I thought that it wasn't the same texture as the other Ofra highlights, and I was like, it's not intense enough. But now I look back at that video and I'm like, what are you talking about? That's the most intense highlight I've ever seen. I don't know what was wrong with me, honestly. But I think it's really, really pretty. It does have a little bit of a green base to it, but it has a really nice shine. I feel like I'm still getting the hang of overhead filming, so if there's any parts where I'm going in and out of focus, I really do apologize. So I have two different pink highlighters from Kaleidos, and this one is called Comet Catcher. This one is the duochrome. I don't know if you can see that there. It has a white to pink shift, and then the other one is more of a true pink, so we'll save that to do in just a moment. This one is honestly not one of my favorite duochrome highlighters just because it's so subtle. It's very, very just sheer, and I feel like you really have to build it up to get the pinkness to show on your skin. So there's what that one looks like. I almost forgot to include this, but this is the Wayne Goss little blush duo in the shade Blush Peony. And I just got this. I literally used it yesterday for the first time, but it has an iridescent pink. That's a little bit of a duochrome. I wouldn't say super duochrome-y, but I felt like I could just go ahead and swatch it with the shades I'm doing right now. So I'm just going to do a little bit. And honestly, when I first tried this and touched it, I was like, ooh, it doesn't really feel dry and it doesn't really feel creamy. But the more I touch it, it does actually kind of have like a cream to powder finish. So there's what that one looks like. Super pretty. I just love the texture of that one. We have the Anastasia Dream Highlighter Palette, and if I'm being honest, every single shade in here shifts pink. I know when you look at it in the packaging, it's like, oh, there's a green, there's a purple, a yellow. Like, it looks like there's a lot going on, but I swear all of these end up being very, very pink. I don't want to swatch the whole palette today just because we already have so much to swatch, but I'm going to go ahead and swatch the most pink one in here, which is this shade right here called Unicorn. So just to show you what the texture and everything looks like in comparison to some of the other duochromes. You can see, I do really like this palette. It's more on the glittery side, but if you like a glittery highlight, then it's a nice one. See how intense that is? Look at how pink that is. Oh, it's so pretty. I need to use that shade again. Okay, so there's all of these swatches so far. I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off, and we can do some more of the regular pink highlights. Okay, so next I have this little palette from Natasha Nona. This is the Love Glow Cheek Palette, and here is what it looks like. So I know it doesn't necessarily look like there's a pink highlighter in here to start off with, but this one is actually more of a light pink when you swatch it out. It doesn't come off as bright as it looks in the pan, so I wanted to go ahead and include it anyways. So I'll get a good little swatch going, and there's what it looks like. So I guess, I mean, it still does have like a bright pinkness to it, but I can use this one as a highlighter blended into the cheeks. Okay, so there's what that one looks like. And then let's see, next we can do this highlight here from Wet n Wild. This was a limited edition one. It's called The Sweetest Bling. I actually decluttered a lot of my product from Wet n Wild, but I held on to this one just because it's such a pretty pink highlight. Has a really nice texture to it. It's so nice. I mean, it doesn't even look that special swatched out, but I feel like on the cheeks, it's just gorgeous. Next we have this one here from Beauty Bakery. It's their Milk and Honey palette, and this shade in here called Oh Honey is one of my favorite pink highlights. I just think it is absolutely stunning, and it just looks like the perfect glow from within on the cheeks. It's so smooth as far as texture goes. I don't know if you can see that. Like, it just looks so nice. It's more of a subtle pink, more on the soft side, but I love it. Let's go ahead and do this one next. This is from Makeup Geek. It's their highlight in the shade Glitz. And I actually don't love this formula at all. I don't know why I keep holding on to it. It's a beautiful shade, but I just have other pink highlighters that I prefer so much to this. I mean, you can see I have like a nice little dip going. I've used it quite a bit. Here's what it looks like, but I just don't prefer it. Okay, next we have this Concha highlighter from Glamlight, and this is a really pretty kind of pinky purple shade. So there's what that one looks like. Definitely a little bit more of a thicker texture. Do another Bitter Lace Beauty one. This is the shade Rose Quartz. Just looks like that. It's a pretty soft pink. This was in like, I want to say like their little jewel collection, and it's definitely my favorite shade of the bunch. And then I have this one from Bitter Lace Beauty that I got on clearance for like $4. It's the shade Sweet Dreams, and it's just a very, very soft pink. It's a little bit powdery, not my absolute favorite highlighter. Okay, next we can go ahead and do the Dawn Face Palette, which was the collaboration between Midas Cosmetics and Neon MUA. This is the lightest one that they had, and this highlight right here is like an icy white with like a little bit of a pink tone to it, and it is definitely like a super shock cheek texture. It's very, very creamy, and it just feels so buttery. I love this one. It's very intense on the cheeks. Next, we have this Terra Moons highlight, which is called the Ascendant, and it's a really, really beautiful soft pink. I don't know why I said it like that, but I think it's a really beautiful shade. So there's what that looks like. Okay, next, I have two highlights from Fair Beauty. This first one here is called Immortal Nymph. It's just a very pretty soft pink. There's what that one looks like. And then we also have the shade Oracle to swatch out. Honestly, I probably could have swatched that one with the Duochromes, but here we are. I totally forgot to do this one with the Duochromes too. This is the Divina highlight in the shade Immortality. It's just one of those like white with an iridescent pink shift highlighters. It's a little bit more on the dry side. Oh man, I'm literally so out of frame. It's not even funny swatching that. You can see it's more on the powdery side. It does have a pretty iridescent pinkness to it. I definitely like it on the skin more than I like it swatched out. Okay, next we have the Star Surfer highlighter from Kaleidos, which I really like this one. I think it's hard to open, but it's a very pretty soft, subtle pink tone. So there's what that one looks like. Okay, we've got the little Smoky Glow Midas Cosmetics collab highlighter duo here. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch the shade Slay, which is nice and creamy and buttery, and it's a really pretty soft pink. This one here from Laura Geller. This is the Pixie Pearl Illuminator, and I really don't think you can buy this. I feel like I've looked to like find it to link it before, and I think it might have been something that was limited edition. I'm just going to go ahead and swatch that. This one, again, is a little bit more dry and powdery to the touch. It's actually really fun. Oh my gosh. I could just swatch it like that for days. Anyways, there's what it looks like. It's, again, a pretty soft pink, a little bit more on the neutral side. But I mean, it looks really pretty. It has a nice... again, kind of glow from within look. Okay, next we can talk about my favorite highlighter. I'm so sad. So this is Ofra Pillowtalk. Rip. I actually did use a ton of this, and I hit pan and everything, but I dropped it recently. Well, actually, I dropped it a few months ago, and then I repressed it, and I was trying to keep it as best as I could, but then I dropped it again after already having dropped it, and it just was a mess. It went everywhere. I could not fix it because it fell in carpet, so it was hard to even get the product back up. Anyways, basically it's gone, but I have just a little bit left, so I thought I'd do a swatch. This is probably my favorite all-time pink highlighter. It's taking a lot of self-control not to go and buy this again. You can see there's what it looks like. I definitely feel like I'll replace it eventually, but I love it so, so much. I've seen people say that this was too pink for them, and I always just feel a little bit like confused because I don't know if you can tell, like just compared to all the other pink highlighters there are, I feel like that is one of the most white leaning. Like it's just like the most subtle pink highlight on my skin tone at least. So there's what that looks like. And then I also do have that shade again already. I'm not going to swatch it again, but I have it in a little duo. This was the Samantha March, oh gosh, okay. I think it's called the Start Inspired Highlight Now. This is my original packaging when I bought it the first time around, but it has Pillowtalk and Star Island in it. So I do have Pillowtalk in here. I don't know if it's the same as having it as a single, but I have it. So I'll be using that one a lot more now that this one is basically done. It had a good life. And then we can go ahead and swatch this one from Lethal Cosmetics. This is their wavelength highlighter in the shade Ionic, and I absolutely love this highlight. Again, a very, very subtle one. It's definitely more of like a very neutral shade with just like the tiniest little bit of a pink undertone. So if you don't really love pink highlights, you just want like the tiniest little inch of pink, this one is a nice option. It doesn't even look pink swatched next to all these other pink highlights, but on my skin, it does lean a little bit more pink. This one is another one of my absolute all-time favorite highlights. This is the Simi Grace Pink Lightning highlight. I love it for the shade, but I also love the formula because it's not your typical powder highlight. Most powder highlights are very like just loose, and this has like a certain consistency to it. I don't know if you can even tell just like seeing me touch it. It feels like a pressed highlight because of the consistency. There's just like a little bit something more to it. So I really, really love this one. And also I just love the shade of pink. Like I think, okay, I kind of got that everywhere. But look at that. Like seriously, it is one of the best pink highlights ever. Okay, then we have another pink highlight here, which is called Baby Doll from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. I honestly forgot that I had this. I've talked about their Warm Lights highlighter, and I really love the formula of that one. I forgot that I owned a pink version, so I honestly don't know how I feel about this because I can't remember. I found it in my drawer today, and I was like, oh yeah, did not remember you. Actually, you know what? I think I might have compared this to Pillowtalk in the past because I think it's very similar to Pillowtalk. We'll put it right here. Oh, yes, it is. Maybe just a little bit more pink than Pillowtalk, but overall very, very close. We have this highlight here from Be Perfect Cosmetics, which I haven't used on my cheeks yet. I just recently got it, and it looks so beautiful. I swatched it, and it looked absolutely beautiful, like the perfect pink, but I just haven't had the chance to try it yet. It is the Super Shock Cheek kind of formula. Look at that. Oh, the glow is so pretty, and it just feels so nice. So there's what that one looks like. It's not swatching as opaquely. It almost looks a little sheer, but it just looks like so wet on the skin. Oh man, this hand right here is where it's at with the highlights. All right, lastly, we have this highlighter here, which is the iconic London Illuminator in the shade Shine, and it's just a really beautiful pink liquid highlighter. I don't own that many liquid highlighters. I think I have maybe like 2 or 3 more, but this is the only pink one that I have. I'm going to go ahead and swatch it on this hand. I rarely ever swatch with my left hand because I'm very, 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 very right hand dominant, but I'll just do it so you can see this in full action. Okay. I feel like anything I do with my left hand just always looks so awkward. I'm just going to go ahead and do a big old swatch of that, since that is last but not least, of course. So you only need like seriously the tiniest little bit for your cheeks, but look at that. Look at that glow. Wow. So pretty. Okay guys, so I'm pretty sure that is every single pink highlighter I own swatched out. I hope that this video was helpful. And please feel free to leave your request if there's any other like small little collection videos you want to see next. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!